Hey guys, this is DutchBro, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to make a Minecraft server. I know there's not a lot of videos out there right now because usually you have to look at 3 or 4 ones, just how to install the server and how to load it, how to reallocate your RAM, how to port forward your router, all that kind of stuff without using Hamachi because Hamachi sucks. Just going to put that out there. Um, so yeah, to get started, open up Google Chrome or whatever else you guys use for your web browsing. Then just Google Bukkit Server download. The great thing about Bukkit servers is you can put in tons of plugins, and there's just tons of plugins out there for your server, whether you want to add economy plugins, town plugins, all that. And then you want to just click the recommended build download, and it should pop up in the bottom. It'll say this file type may harm your computer. That's just because it's a jar file and the way that Chrome reads it, but just keep it. It's fine, don't worry about it. And then that should download, just show in your folder, should be right there in your downloads folder or whatever. And then once that finishes downloading, you can install it, and that's pretty straightforward, just installing anything else. And yeah, then I put it into a thing on my desktop, so it'd be right there and ready. And it should come with this run file already built in. If it doesn't work, you'll have to go in and make a directory within your system, but that gets kind of complicated. There are videos out there if you search up that problem. So anyway, just run the batch file and it'll look like this. And at first you're going to get an error. This is just because my server is already running. But you'll get an error saying that some files aren't there, or they might be missing. That's just because you haven't ran the server yet. Then it'll dump all this stuff out, crash report, library, plugins, and then whatever map you're using, it'll create a new one. And so to set up your server, there's this server notepad right here, and I'd suggest opening of Notepad++. It's a great program. The way it formats everything makes it really easy. And there's all this information here on how to change the different settings on your server and everything. Like you can put max players, so how many players can join your server, but that all depends on how much RAM you allocate to your server. And it's usually about 5 gigs of RAM for 100 people, but I'll get to that later. So you don't really need to do anything in here right now, but just kind of keep that open, just minimize. Okay, so now what we'll want to do is we'll want to allocate the RAM we need for our server to run on. So if you're just playing with you and a couple of your buddies or whatever, then you don't really need more RAM than 1 gig because the server will automatically allocate 1 gig to the server. But if you want to be playing with hundreds of people, survival games, Hunger Games, or just whatever, then you'll want a lot more RAM because like I said before, it's about 100 people for every 5 gigs of RAM. And so to figure out, first of all, how much RAM you have is you go into Start, Computer, Properties, and then it says right here, Installed Memory and RAM if you're running Windows 7. It says 8 gigabits, that's how much RAM I have, planning on getting a little more soon. And Windows takes out about 1.5 gigs of RAM to run, and if you're going to be playing Minecraft off your own server, then you'll probably want to save another 500 megabits to a gig on RAM, and then more if you want to be running computers like recording software or anything else. And to reallocate the RAM you want, you open it with Notepad++ or whatever, and right here where it says Xms1024M Xmx1024M, that's 1 gig of RAM, that's the minimum amount of RAM it's going to use. And then the XMX, which is the maximum amount of RAM, will also say 1024 megabits when you first open this up. I changed it to 5 gigs here because that's how much I use for my server. And you can just edit that. You can use 5 Gs if you want, 5 gigs if you have it, or just 1 gig. Just keep it how it is. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to do in there. And then when you're done with that, open back up the server here, and you can open it up with Notepad++. I like it. And then you can go back in here, and in the section that says server IP, you can type in your computer's IP, and to figure that out, we'll load up command prompt in a little bit here, so just keep that open. And you know, the message of the day. So this is just color code right here. You can look up the Minecraft wiki to figure that out. That's just below your Minecraft. It says your message on your server. When people look at it, it'll have the message of the day, like join Minecraft, whatever. And PvP, you can turn that to true. Difficulty 1 is easy. 0 is peaceful, I think. And then you can online mode. You turn that to false if you're going to be playing with people who have, say, a cracked Minecraft client because they got it off, you know, the internet for free or whatever. Just turn that to false, and you also have to turn your batch file to false as well. But you can get in trouble for that. It doesn't really make a big difference. You just have to turn that to false as well. And back to, oh gosh, where'd it go? Server properties, there we go. You can turn hardcore mode on, and spawn animals, true, whitelist, all that's pretty much self-explanatory. You know, you can figure it out. And yeah. So then you just close this down once you're all finished playing with that. So here's the tricky part. We gotta actually let people join your Minecraft server. Now that you've installed it and got it all configured and everything. So what we gotta do is gotta close that down, open up your web browser, type in 192.168.1.1, that's your router page. Most routers are 1.1, sometimes will be 1.2 or something like that. It just depends. But this is the most common page for routers. And this one's Frontier. This will look different than yours unless you have Frontier. And then type in admin for your username, and usually it's admin or password for your password unless your parents or whoever changed it. I don't know. But just type that in, enter. Now I come up to this page. Most servers have this kind of page. You want to go to advanced, and yes, you want to proceed. You want to find something that will look like port forwarding or something like that. This one's right here, port forwarding rules. So these are all the ones that are already built in. This router's got a lot of games already built in, so you can play them online. What you'll want to do is, if your router's like this, scroll the way down and click add. And then service name, you want to type something in like Minecraft, since that'll be what we're using. Description, you don't really need that. Alright, add server ports. So protocol, you want to do TCP and, you know, just TCP. Some of them have TCP and UDP. That's what you'll want to go with if it's got both. If it doesn't, just TCP is fine. Source ports, any destination port. Actually, yeah, you'll want to do both of these single. What you'll want to type in is 25565 because that's what Minecraft runs on, is the 25565 port. Oops, there we go. And then you'll want to click apply. I already have one in here, so I'm not going to do that right now because it would override the port I already have. And then now what you got to do is you got to go into your main on this anyway, and there'll be another one that says port forwarding. So now you actually have to set it up. So you just set up the application for it. So what you want to do here is it'll ask you which IP you want to forward the port to. And mine is right here, my computer, and it shows your IP. And usually it says the computer name and then the IP. To figure out what your IPv4 is, you'll want to go into start and then type CMD into the command prompt and click enter. That'll pull up your command prompt, and then type in IP config, and that'll pull up all your IP information. And you want to look for the IPv4 address, which should be right here. Mine is, 192.168.1.8. and yours will probably be something similar, probably 1.2, 1.3, depending on how many computers you have connected to your router. And then once you get that, you want to make sure that that aligns with here. And then application to forward. You want to search for your Minecraft that you just made, and mine's right here. I already have one set up. So then once you're done with that, just click add, and it should add it to this big list of ones. And I already have it on here, so I'm not going to do that again. And then you should be good to go with that. Now what you want to do is you want to take your IPv4 address, and you want to go back and open up the server folder, because remember I told you to minimize that for later. So we got to type it in right here, the server IP, which is just your IPv4 address since it's on your computer. So you can just kind of look at it, there's it right there, and just copy it over. When you're good with that, you can just close them both out. So now what you want to give to your friends, and anybody who wants to connect to it, is you got to look for your network IP, and that's totally different than your IPv4. Just go to Google, and then just simply Google what's my IP, and then it should come up right here. If you don't see this, just click on what's my IP link, and there'll be a website, and it'll say it right there. This is my network IP for my computer. So say I'll give this to my buddy, I'll just type it in, your IP, and then you want to put the colon for your port 25565, because that's what Minecraft runs on. And that'll go into through your router straight to your computer when somebody types that in. So you want to just copy that, and yours will be different than mine. This is for my server. If you guys want to join, I'll put this in the description, and it's usually up and running, and it's a big open world survival server that we're still building. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. But now you want to open Minecraft, this one. Now we've got to connect to our server, and your buddies or whoever you want to join your server uses the numbers that we just had before to connect, but we will use your IPv4 address, which if you don't remember, you can go back into command prompt and do ipconfig, and you'll find it in there. And you just take that and you click add server, just like you add any other server, and you can name your server. And then in your server address, you can just type in whatever your IPv4 address was. Like mine was 192.168.1.8. Yours will be different. It might be the same, but you just type that in there. And when you do that, just click. Oh, I don't know where it went. Anyway, just go and find your server. It should be in here, and so I'll load up my server here and prove it works. Alright, yep, and that is my friend.
Hey guys, I'm Colonel Sanders.
Yep, and this is our server we've been building. I'll put the server address in the description so you guys can come and join. And yeah, I'll do another video on plugins and all of that later and show you guys some more cool stuff. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, if this helped you, hit the subscribe button and the like button down below, and yeah, have a good day guys.